even with safety car there.
And there we go, we yo-yoed in and out of the session. I joined as a racer at first, and then I joined as a spectator, and then the stream died. But after an F1 pit stop style on graphics, stream title and everything, welcome back for the main event of the evening. It's NRX v FRT, also from Japan, and Caesar will just drop on board for the team. Talk over it, but that is a very competitive lineup from NRX tonight, Caesar.
Certainly, NRX 1-0 out. It's obviously it's a knockout fixture, different to the race we done earlier this night. It's simple. The team with the most points today progresses to the semi-final.
Indeed. So NRX presented by Sam Cole, Chasta LeGriff, Levi. Is that still the same? Levi Square and Jacob. And FRT, Jackster Auto, Bellara Fox, Sabe, FH, and Maxwell. As we've already got cars out on the track, and I've got no game sound.
Oh, that's a bit weird. Let's well, I can certainly try to fix that. Oh, it's back. Oh, okay.
It's back.
Good,
it's
good,
back.
Good.
Aiden F1 says, nice bottle rose. I challenge you to do a back-to-back stream and not have any issues. That's all I'm saying. FRT Jacks are out on track. But the first lap looks like it's going to be set by the AlphaTauri of Jacob N. Caesar, if you want to take us away on a lap with the AlphaTauri.
Right, so Jacob N, he's qualifying on the mediums right now, as we see in the first lap of the session. He goes now on the start-finish straight. DRS enabled. So you go now down into turn 1. He hits the curve slightly, it helps with rotation. He misses the second one. And I think he done that really nice. Going into the S's, the first one, he hooks the curve very aggressively, but he misses the second one. All good for now, as he missed the third one. It's looking very good from Jacob right now. At the final corner of sector 1, and I think for a medium lap, that was quite a good sector. As we see now going into the Deckners, he did a 32.2 on mediums in the first sector. It's pretty impressive for a banker lap, as he lost a bit of traction out of the second Deckner. Into the hairpin he goes, he stayed nice and tight to the apex, on the exit curve he goes. And now all the way down to Spoon. And NRX driver using the AlphaTauri tonight into Spoon, as he slightly skipped which helps with it. So, bit of a stinker there, helps with rotation, and he misses the second one now down to the back straight up to the second sector split. Let's see what time he has. It's a 12.0 for banker on mediums. That's quite good, obviously with fastest sector 2 in the last chicane now, as he hits the first curb and he hits the second curb as well, but not entirely. Now goes off to the start finish line. It's a 28.6 on mediums. That's a decent lap for the NRX driver.
It is indeed, and half a second off the famous Ronnie from last night. But Bellara Fox is going to come across the line as we say good evening as the NRX lads start dropping into the chat. Good evening to Rizzy, good evening to the chorus Jacob, to KV, SO5, Fresh Keys in the chat, good evening to you as well. FRT Alpha's in, crowding. Good evening to you all, welcome to the second race of this evening. Jackster 129.1 on the mediums as we go on board with Lagriff, I hope that's his name, who's towing his teammate Chasta along, and let's Chasta go. Chasta coming through Casio Triangle, and he's not going to 128.6 is the fastest line, but more importantly he's only 6/100ths of a second off Jacob on the mediums.
Sabe, I think, invalidates is a 28.662. And Levy goes fast.
No, there you go. Here comes NRX Levi with a 128.602, and I'm going to go on board with the guy that everyone talks a lot about apart from Ron Har in multiple discords, and it's NRX Square. Down into turn 1 we go. This is turn 2. Jacob Ent 128.5 on his second lap on the mediums as we watch NRX Square take a load of curb on the first S's. Loves to keep it planted very early on the throttle. Quick upshift to 5, and someone's been off because there's dirt all over the track as we go into the Degners and see what kind of time he's set on the mediums in sector 1. 32.1, it flashes purple for a little while on the exit of the second Degner up to turn 11. Yellow flags in sector 2 for 2 cars getting out of the way of Square. He just rides too much of the curb, just flicks the grass as he goes into turn 12, takes a little bit curb as he has to get out of the way of his teammate in the McLaren, and down into Spoon we go. Lift and send it, rocket to the outside, then bring it inside. And he rides a curb, and that looks again another fantastic Spoon. Keeps to the left, then just flicks it out to the right to go flat out through 130R at 185 miles an hour. Down into Casio Triangle we go. And the most favoured line is exactly how he's taken it. Ride the curb 1, ride the curb out of 15, hug it to the right hand side wall, and NRX Square sets a 128.3, and that is the fastest lap of the session. And that, Caesar, is 3 NRX drivers all on mediums, sending everyone else to the shops and back.
What a lap from NRX Square there. So FH is on the mediums, but he backed off, and Le Griff is on an out lap. Those laps, they're pretty decent from the NRX drivers, to say the least. Kessler is on the soft, but he's still behind all those 3.
And someone quite rightly pointing out that NRX Square's lap is actually better than Ron Har's, because Ron Har had a massive toe off LMG, I think it was, last night. And I tend to agree, or is that toe worth 0.2 of a second, I wonder?
An average toe on a backstretch in Japan is, I think, worth around 1.5 tenths, but yeah, it obviously depends on how good you nail that toe. So
indeed. ERN Maxil coming out of Spoon. Good evening to Decorus Marcus, or AEM Marcus, I don't know what you are these days, as Maxil G sets a 111.4 for sector 2, and it flicks purple. But still that game glitch persists, Caesar, as into Casio Triangle we go, and everyone sets purple sector 2s. Hugs that right hand side wall. Where's he going to go on the softs?
Whoa!
It's the oh!
What the lap? He said it's
hello!
banker.
That's the banker lap, and that's a 127.946, and that's the fastest time we've seen in any race so far in this round.
Okay. What a lap! I'm a bit stunned, to be honest.
I can't. That is absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, Better Fox
ERN
crashes into the S's, but he can't continue. Luckily, he lost his wing.
Yeah, he has lost his wing. Absolutely speechless of that lap from ERN Maxul G. That is something special, and I'm glad that we stayed on board with him for the end. What a lap! Insane. Who is this? Grip Hacks. AMS term on an alt account, says someone in the chat. Jackster now will go on board with the Red Bull driver through the S's. Wow, 127.946, Caesar. That is impressive. I cannot believe what I've just witnessed. Yellow flags all over the track for cars getting out of the way, but Jackster's found half a tenth in sector 1, and he'll look to improve on that. I'm just looking at the track map to see if there are any cars looking to give him that toe, and it looks like Bella Fox or Sabe might be able to give him a toe. Jackster coming out of Spoon, and there is the tow car in front of NRX Chasta, so he's using the opposite team for a little bit of a tow, but he's not gained a lot. 6/100ths of a second as we go into Casio Triangle. Late on the brakes, put it over the curb on 14, on the outside of 15. And what's Jackster 20 got in the lockup? He's found 3 temps, so he found 2.5 temps in sector number 3, and he's up to P9 128.8.
FRT Auto is 3 tenths up. Now coming out of the last chicane onto the start finish straight, and he gets a 28.3. It's, hang on a minute, it's exactly the same time square, but FRT Auto said it later, but he's in front. So that's a bit of a timing glitch, I think, by the game, unless the game times all the qualifying times in tens of thousands of seconds as well. But that doesn't look entirely fair, in my opinion.
There is one massive point to take into consideration. One is on mediums and one is on softs.
Exactly. So expect Square is on the outlap on the soft, so expect Square to improve.
Right, Jacob N is just coming into Casio Triangle and he's 4.5 temps up.
Sure, this goes.
And he's at a...
Yeah, at 27.7.
Wow! Wow!
Well,
0.8 of a second found, and 127.7 is, I think it was 7 100ths of a second. I think Ron Haas at a 27.712 invalidation on my screen last night. But stop comparing him. Jacob N, what a fantastic lap. On a pad as well. The NRX boys in the chat go absolutely wild, and he's got to be proud of himself, Caesar, with that kind of time.
Yeah, as we see Levi into the top 3 as well. Casta and Savoia both set 28.3s. Square is, I think, on a lap, and he's 2 tenths up in his first sector already. 2.5 tenths up. 31.8.
He is indeed. So we're going on board with NRX Square, and just when I thought that Maxwell G was absolutely massive, Jacob N sends his time to the shops and back, and references to ABS United in the chat. He is a proud member, and the ABS United boys making all of the noise in the chat right now.
He's 5 tenths up. 5 tenths up.
This is going to be close for Paul as well.
This is going to be a 27.6, I think. A low point 6, yeah. Oh, it's a 7 flat.
It's a 7 dead. Into team battle at Alpha Tauri. That. We saw one driver in the 27s in the last 2 races that we've covered. But not 3. And almost 4. Levi with 28.0. Sam Cole is not improving.
Can I just say, NRX Square and Jacob are currently both in the top 5 of the BFE driver ratings. Yeah, they're making it happen again. Both sharing the front row. 2 tenths ahead of the nearest FRT driver.
Indeed. 4 minutes to go in qualifying, and I should have billed this as the main event from the beginning, Caesar, because I thought a 27.9 was good, and then the Alpha Tauri boys made me eat my words. 27.7 flat and a 27.782. Absolutely phenomenal.
And even P3 and 27.9 as well from Maxwell G.
Yeah, and you've got NRX Levi, who's capable of just finding that couple of temps as well. So the inter-team battle plus Maxwell G could be interesting as we head towards 3 minutes of qualifying, and Square giving Lagriff. Oh, he's blocked him.
Yeah,
I think he's blocked him.
He wasn't on the lap either. He backed off already. His second time was far off. Yeah.
And with 3 minutes to go, we've got no cars out on track. Crowdin pointing out one interesting thing.
Yeah, I read this as well,
yeah, no toe. So if the toe's worth 2 temps, Square's going to hit a 27.5. And you've got to be thinking they're going to try it.
Jacob, I think, comparing both sector times of both drivers, Jacob loses 2/10 in the first sector to Square.
Gee.
And Square loses a tenth in the final sector, so possibly a 27.5 on the perfect lap is possible, even without a slipstream.
Indeed, and I've just noticed that I just want to say a massive good evening to one of the best commentators on Xbox, PSR Jish, in the chat. Good evening, sir. How are you? Pleasure to have you in the stream.
As we have MrJSmithy out on an outlap, and it looks like he's trying to burn some fuel. That's probably all cars are doing, as it's the weird glitch in this game that on the minimum you have to get at least 2.7 to 3.0 laps of fuel. A minimum when you go out for an outlap in qualifying. So yeah, hopefully that will be fixed in the next game or next patch or something.
Yeah, indeed, and we saw all the cars almost come out in a train out of the box, and I'm very well, Mr. Jish. Hope you're well yourself, pal. As we get ready.
I think Levi went off on his outlap in turn 4.
Okay, so taking us off will be ERN Maxwell G.
He's the one for FRT to challenge for pole at the moment. He's still a long way, 2/10, or 2.5 tenths even back from Square. But never say never.
And here we go then. The fight for pole starts now. 50 seconds left, and there's a lot of cars in sector 2. That's going to be very tight. Into turn 1 goes Maxwell G. He needs to absolutely give it everything now as you go through the S's. Lagras gone out on the mediums and probably to be used as a bit of a tow car, has he? No. Maxwell G on the uphill left. Just keeps it. Oh no, snap of oversteer. Yeah. And that's the end of his attempt.
As he's above his teammates coming up behind. Jackster's now the car in front. He's 2/10 up, 3/10 up almost.
Yeah, almost 3/10 up is Jackster. And his teammate has quite rightly predicted Auto 71, and that snap of oversteer is all it takes, and you're onto the gravel.
So yeah, everyone is on the lap, apart from, of course, unfortunately, Maxwell G. Jackster entering spoons now, as he hits both those corners very good. Bit of understeer on the exit of the second one, but now onto the back straight. It was 3/10 up after his sector 1. Let's take a look at his sector 2 split. He's 5/10 up, which would take him to around P5, P6 at the moment, but he still has his final sector to go.
Indeed.
Chicane, pretty decent for the FRT driver. As he crosses the line, he goes P5 on 28.2, and he's the first one to end his qualifying position. Now we have Otto, his teammate behind him. He was 4/10 down. He doesn't improve. Sam Cole doesn't improve either. He improves by 1,000 actually.
Yeah, 1,000th of a second.
But now we have one of the AlphaTauri's crossing the line. It's Square, and he goes to a 27.5.
Whoa! I said 27.5.
Yeah, we did.
Jacob's backed out.
28.3 for FH.
Levi's found 2.5 tenths. Snap of oversteer coming out of 15. How much is that going to cost him?
27.6.
It's a 27.6. NRX are on fire.
Beller Fox, and he goes to 28.2.
Here comes Chasta. What's Chasta got in the locker? It's P7. 128.2.
And that is it.
And
what a session. Mind blowing. P11 is a 28.4.
I cannot believe what I've just seen. NRX Square 127.583, 4/10 of a second quicker than anything that we've seen so far. Levi in P2. I told you, Mystic Rose predicts these things. I said he had a couple of attempts in the locker, and he's shown that tonight. I did manage to drop in with a little chat with Levi earlier and told him that he needs to win tonight. and that's the end of qualifying, and that's probably one of the best qualifying sessions I've ever done at Japan, and hopefully the race leads up to the action that we had last night. And just to go back over, NRX Square 127.583, a 10th clear of his teammate Levi. Jacob N 2/10 behind makes it an all NRX 1-3. Maxwell G 127.9, that's not a time to be disappointed at. Bella Fox Jackster Chaster, I'm a poet and I don't know it, in P7. FH in 8th, Auto 71 9th, Sabe 10th, Sam Cole in 11th, and Lagriff used as a bit of a tow car, 4.8 seconds off down in P12. The race is coming your way shortly.
In terms of qualifying, like, alright, let's save the best for last. The top 4 times are all quicker than any time we've seen so far. It's insane, an insane qualifying performance from both teams, but of course especially NRX.
And the chat going absolutely Shuey, I am a Coca-Cola man. Joe Loke Goat is the chat. Surfy, welcome to the stream this evening. EXR Lewis, thanks for sticking around, mate. Shuey doesn't like Caesar, Sprite or Coke?
I'll take Sprite. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really drink Coca-Cola that much, so yeah. I'm not sure if people are gonna be disappointed now, but
Man, Paul was a 27.583 from Mr. Square. I'm gonna dip for a couple of seconds, Caesar, if you don't mind.
Yeah, just make sure you are here back in time.
I will. I'm stood right next to my TV anyway, so I'll be back in a couple of moments.
As we see, P11 and P12, the 2 NRX drivers outside of the top 10, Sam Cole and NRX Griff, planning to start on medium tires, which is obviously the way to go if you're at the back using the alternate strategy. As the drivers are expected to ready up in about a minute, I think, 45:08. So yeah, they're communicating with their engineers. What do we do in the race? Because I think the field isn't spread up that much, as NRX obviously has the 3 drivers in front, but then also 2 drivers at the back. So it's FRT currently filling in the midfield. As it's now 45, so expect the drivers to ready up by any second. As we are still waiting to go, it has been 45 for quite a bit, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's just check with the team bosses real quick. Oh, okay, so I missed that. We're going at 46, so still 1 minute to go. They need a bit of extra time, which is of course it's all fine. Just to make sure they're prepared as good as possible. So, chat, what do we expect, and what do we think after that qualifying session? As we see NRX Square in the chat, what a lap from you, mate! Insane. Looking forward to the race. But yeah, what are your expectations? NRX looking to be the favorite if you look to qualifying. But yeah, maybe FRT has got the race place.
FRT Brood in the chat there. Swinners28, good evening, welcome to the stream. Joseph Loke, aka NRX Square. And with the timer starts to click down, and if you don't mind this time, Caesar, I will take the start.
As you wish, Sir Rose. It's the final one of round 3. Technically, it's not round 3, as it's a knockout race. NRX or FRT. The team with the most points goes through to the semi-finals.
And here we go, getting ready for the start. 1 light, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're away for the final time in Japan.
FH got a massive, an amazing start.
Indeed. That was a massive start from the back. Down into turn 1 we go for the final time. And it looks like everyone's got a bit of a clean getaway, but as I just start to fix the on graphics, you will see that Jackster's lost 2 places off the start. What a start
Auto has dropped back.
FH.
Auto has dropped back. He had a decent start going up to P8, but now he's down to P12. So I think he must have had a moment somewhere in the S's. But it's square, Levi and Jacob in front of NRX.
Yeah, very, very good start from the NRX boys. NRX Adams in the chat, Stenner getting a shout out in the chat, LeGriff Goat, Square so good they put him in the chat twice. Maxwell G right on the back of Jacob N, 0.2 of a second is the gap. A cleaner start in race 2, I would say, Caesar.
Yeah, well, some position changes at the back. As we see, Jackster losing 2 places and Otto losing 3 places. Otto has dropped a second back from LeGriff as well, so he's going to be a bit in trouble. Max G is very close to Jacob.
He touches the back of him coming out of turn 15. And 32.2 will be beaten quite convincingly as the fastest lap of the race.
Everyone has been out in the DRS turn, but of course DRS won't be enabled until lap 3. So everyone's very close to each other.
Maxwell G going very wide out of turn number 1, but Bella Fox didn't make a move in behind. So 0.6 a gap, Square to Levi, Jacob N 0.4 behind, and it's all close for comfort on lap 2. In this knockout battle. I stood up for the start, I don't know why. Savoia on the back of Jackster. Teammates. Hopefully you don't hold each other up too much, because they're...
Oh, Max G loses a position. Oh! Bella Fox, I think they've collided. Or maybe Custom hit Bella Fox and on the back.
Not quite... Yeah, there's something not quite right happened there. I caught it on the rear view.
Custom doesn't have damage, so... Well, Max G and Bella Fox, I would think we're very close to each other. I don't know what's happened there, but it does mean Bella Fox is now last, and the top 3 NRX drivers have now pulled away to 1.4 seconds to Maxwell.
Yeah, so yeah, something not quite right, and I'm sure we'll find out. Something not quite right. NRX Square 131.4, 0.6 still the gap, and yeah, something don't. FH now looking to make a move on NRX Chaster. Is he going to send it into turn 1? No, he's not. Bella Fox actually boxes as well, so possible wing damage as well. Watch him come into the box and see if that is a wing change going on the Williams, unless you've got anything else out on track, Caesar.
Yeah, well, people being confused in the chat, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, and there's a yellow flag, and Otto has, I think, spun in the S's. But he's carrying on. I don't think he has any damage. No, he hasn't. But that's 2 FRT drivers dropping back in the early stages of the race.
It is indeed, and we saw how much that can affect you in race 1 of the evening. And unfortunately FRT now 2 drivers sat at the back of the grid and some distance off. And the pressure really is on now on FRT. Yellow flag in sector 1, and guess who?
Bella Fox.
Bella Fox. With his tyres not up to temperatures, right round baby, right round. And I wonder if we're going to get the spin count going again in the chat.
Let's hope we don't need it this time.
AMS Chris in the chat, good evening to you. And Jacob, Levi and Square getting very close together, coming out of Casio Triangle. Jacob just with a little snap of oversteer as the DRS. Maxwell G He's looking to get back in within that second Caesar, and fastest lap of a 1:31.0 is going to help him a little bit, as Levi and Jacob, as you can just see in the distance, getting very close, and they don't want to hold each other up with Maxwell G 1.5 seconds behind. But Chasta is gaining.
Can I just say, from all the races, just a bit of statistics in the middle of the race. From all the races Square has done, he's done 3 races. His average qualifying position is 2.3, and his average finish position is 1.3, getting an average of 23 points for each race. He's done amazing statistics, and guess what? He's in the lead again.
Yeah, so that 1.3 could be a 1.1. There's no doubt that he is one of the best drivers around right now, and NRX very lucky to have not only Square, Levi and Jacob N as talented drivers, but I'm sure that NRX are a strong outfit all the way through, as are the likes of PSR, Decorus, even FRA. You know, there's some star drivers that we cover in BFE, and it's an absolute pleasure to commentate over some of these gods that don the track. It makes me.
So just to cut in, but
jealous.
Kasta is going for a move on Maxwell G in turn 1. Ooh, Maxwell G moves a bit on the straight there. Ooh, and he goes wide. Ooh, that was a bit touchy there between the two drivers. As Maxwell has his teammate now on the back of him. Just Kasta goes through.
Yeah, good call. I just caught that late. I was watching Sabe and Jaxter swap positions in the battle for P7, and Chasta making it an NRX 1-4 now. Maxwell G has got some work to do now, but he can come straight back at Chasta, Caesar, because Chasta doesn't have DRS to the car in front.
However, Kasta has much more ERS than the FRT driver. So I think he's on 60-70%. But yeah, he has his teammates 2.2 seconds ahead. But the 3 NRX drivers pulling away.
Indeed, and
as we see movement in the chat, what was pole? Pole position was at 27.5, if I'm not mistaken, by NRX Square.
It was a 27.583 pole position. For those of you joining this evening, and to chorus Jacob, I have no thoughts on Messi or Ronaldo winning on the Ballon d'Or, unfortunately. It's all about F1 right now. It's all about BFE. It's all about Japan and NRX v FRT, unfortunately. Moo Milk, good evening to you.
Cycle goes past Jaxter into turn 1 up to P8.
Jaxter coming back at him on board with the rear wing of Sam Cole. A little twitch from Jaxter coming out of turn 1. And NRX Lagrif going to be having a little sniff at that if he has one more error, I believe. And that turn 1 again. Turn 1 in the second Degner, I'd say. 2 most poisonous corners this evening from the 2 races that we covered so far, Caesar.
Yeah.
Easy to just lose it.
Maxwell G still very close on the back of Kasta. As we have Lagrif on the back of Jaxter as well. 2 quite similar names in pronouncing. But yeah, they're still from a different team. As Maxwell G is still on very close on the back, constantly within 3/10. That must be hurting his tires as well.
Yeah, indeed, and we expect the pit window to be between laps 8 and 10 with no safety car. So they will be at a high percentage, I imagine, of wear right now, and even more for Maxwell G in the dirty air of Chasta as we go through 130R. Is this the time where Maxwell G makes the move back into P4? It looks like, oh, that snap of oversteers. Chasta runs wide as well, so 2 wrongs don't make a right, and I think at 4/10 back it's going to take something ridiculous to make this move. He pulls out wide to have a look.
Lagrif on the outside of Jaxter into turn 1. Ooh, they're still side by side. Ooh, bit of wheel banging there.
I want to give it up.
With Jaxter.
And
I think we just missed that battle of focus, and a moment there, in the same corner he crashed in lap 1. Ooh, He's got damage. Left front. Yeah.
Yeah, so coming round Spoon is Bella Fox, and his race goes from bad to worse, but we're right back on board in the driver pod of Mr. Maxwell G. Sam Cole getting very close to Sabe in behind. Sam Cole on the medium tyre, 0.3 of a second back.
Bella Fox into the pits for a new front wing. Again, for the second time in this race already.
Indeed. Lewis Badham, good evening in the chat. ETSR Alex. And we're still 5 away from our stream target. Caesar, 430 follows. Do you reckon we can get there?
I think we can get that easily.
There's got to be 5 people in the chat who don't follow. So if you don't follow, hit that follow button. Let's get BFE to 430 this evening. And 6/10 of a second is the gap. So we'll go back to Sam Cole. Sabe weaving to the right, weaving to the left. Nice and easy for the Mercedes on the medium tyre up into P7. And Sam Cole, as Maxwell G has a moment.
Oh, does he have damage? No, it's just warm tires, I think. Sam Cole now on the back as Sam Cole passed Sabe. Oh, he hits him slightly. I think Maxwell does have damage because he's very slow. No, he doesn't. A bit weird there.
Oh, that was close.
That was very close with his teammate there.
Yeah, he almost took out his teammate, and I'm wondering what's causing. Maybe he's got a bit of damage that we can't see, a bit of visual damage on the wing. We'll just watch him coming through, and he's full lock. It doesn't look like he's got damage, maybe just warm tyres. And the weather conditions in this race do look a little bit hotter than they were in the previous, so the S-bends can catch you out, especially on lap 7 where the tyres go towards the cliff. And Maxwell G unfortunately finds himself now down in P8.
Yeah, so Kesta has a 3-second gap to the top 3 and FH 1.7 seconds back. So you have 5 NRX drivers in the top 6 at the moment.
So Sabe is going to come into the pits
as well as
along
Maxwell,
with Maxwell G. So undercut pulled by FRT potentially on Sabe on Sam Cole. Maxwell G, is it going to be a front wing change? It is. So there was damage. Yep. You were correct, Caesar. That is a new front wing. Auto comes into the pits as well on lap 9, and that's going to be one hell of a stint on the medium tyre to get it to the end. 18 laps, which you say could go to the end. That's probably within puncture range.
Yeah, well, remember Louis had a puncture on 22 lap old mediums in the previous race, so I reckon 20 laps, or at least 18, I think 20 laps, yeah, or 19, should be possible. But as I said, I think in the first stream, it all depends on the setup. If your setup is good for tire wear, you can get the tires so much longer than if you, for example, use a setup that's more like a time trial poly setup.
Indeed, and 2 follows away from 4:30 now.
Yeah, as I said, I think it will be easy. Still have a long race left. As the closest battle on track right now is Sam Cole closing up to the back of FH. Both started on the medium tires. FH started on the softs. As Jacob, Levi and Jesta all go into the pits. Sam Cole on the outside of FH into turn 1, what do they do? And FH shuts the door on him. But he goes a bit wide, but Sam Cole has to settle in for P3 for now. Because obviously FH and Square are going to pit earlier than him.
Indeed, and the viewers are trickling up. We're up over 51 now. Jackster into the pits, just coming out now on the mediums. No hard tyres selected yet. But back on board with Sam Cole, who's on the the charge against FH.
Soft tires, of course, dropping up. FRT. Oh, and he makes the move down the inside of the hairpin.
Oh,
FH didn't see
that
it
is
coming. He turned in a bit, but luckily saved it to prevent the crash. But the NRX driver makes the move in left hand on the hairpin.
Again, yeah, we'll label that move of the day so far. Sam Cole with the dive on the Mercedes, catching the Aston Martin of FH out, and that's things you love to see. We love to see decent overtakes to commentate over like that. Arjun Samra, good evening, first time viewer in the chat. Hit follow, make yourself 429, I dare you. And FH444 is going to have an opportunity to come back at Sam Cole. They're getting very tight, and NRX Square pulls the trigger for a pit stop.
As FH continues a bit longer. I think for the tactic of holding up Sam Cole, as I think he's about to overtake him.
Yeah, that's going to be an easy pass. He does squeeze him a little bit. He does just touch grass a little bit. Griffiths F1, good evening. Welcome into the chat.
Square has pitted for the medium tires. Let's see where he ends up. I think he just about stays in front of his teammates there. Yeah. Yeah,
and the three-car leading trio are very close together once again. Maxwell G 30.4 sets the fastest lap of the race, and they're getting very close to each other. Square, Levi, and Jacob N.
Sam Cole is 2 tenths back again at the hairpin. Does he make the move again? Just like last lap? No, but he does work very late.
Yeah, he does look for that absolute send, but I think FH was aware of it this time.
Yeah, so still settling by it. I think he's aware that FH will most likely pit this lap for a set of mediums. So he's not going to fight it too hard. Because he knows on the second stint, when he has pitted, he will be an advantage on the soft tires.
Indeed. Someone else, 2 new guys I haven't seen in the chat much this evening. FRT Brood and Matty T-Bear, welcome as he gets very close. Sam Cole, and a good bit of racecraft, just decides to back it off and get the DRS. We expect FH to go. Oh, I expected him to come in.
But he is very low on ERS, so expect Sam Cole to make a move again. Yeah. I'm not sure why he stays out there, because the mediums are already the fastest tire. And from this point, mediums can easily make the end of the race.
The only driver from the soft lot who hasn't boxed yet, and maybe his setup promotes a little bit of good tyre saving. I don't know. Perhaps his tyres are in a good position. What's his lap times? Just out of interest, Caesar. What kind of laps is he doing in behind and battling with Sam Cole?
So FH and Sam Cole are setting around. Well, FH did 32.8 and 32.7, but if you look at Square, well, he hasn't done a complete full lap, but Levi and Jacob both did low 31s. So he's losing quite a lot of time with him staying out, and it's going to be hard for him to take it back, because even he's maybe on a few laps fresher tires, but it's not a different compound. So
no,
and he's dropped back from Sam Cole to 1.6 seconds now. So surely he's going to pit this lap.
Good evening to Savoia in the chat. Good evening to you, sir. So again, for race 2 of the evening, we see different esports teams coming in, keeping an eye on what's going on. Caesar, we got QBR in the chat, did Chorus. We did see PSR earlier, and FH does box on lap 13, so he's going to be very quick towards the end. And that pit lane looks a bit bumpy. I've just noticed that. Coming in and out of the box. The box at Aston Martin is just sat up on that hill a little bit.
Well, it's of course the start-finish straight is going down a bit, so it's not completely. Not every garage is completely level, but of course in the garage itself, you don't want the surface to be a bit banged to one side. So yeah, that's why they made those bumps there, which is of course quite smart. But yeah, it does look a bit weird on screen.
Yeah, and NRX Quibalda chucking some puns in the chat. You've been on the Penguins tonight, mate, because that joke is poor. But it's still Square, Levi and Jacob N, the net leading trio from Shasta, who's 4.7 seconds behind.
It'll be interesting to
Sam
see
Cole.
if FH can catch up to perhaps NRX Chesta, but he's still around 7 seconds back. And yeah, with only 2 left stretch of tires, it's going to be difficult. Well, of course, it'll be interesting to see if Sam Cole and Le Griff, if they pit now, I reckon they will drop back to around P9. But the gaps around P9, P8, P7 are not that big, so maybe in the end they can get a chance of reaching the top 6 again. Because they will obviously be. I mean, they will not choose the hard tire because the soft tire is, of course, the best tire for the ultimate strategy in the second stint. They will have pace advantage.
It is indeed. We got Moo Moo Milk asking for the provisional scores from the last race, and it was a bit of a landslide. What were the provisional scores there, Caesar, from the last race?
I think the provisional score from the last race was, I think it was a max score ERL at 1 to 6, but I think EXR had the fastest lap, so it was, if I remember correctly, it was 88 to 14, so ERL, which makes ERL provisionally go through to the semi-finals.
Indeed, 88 to 40. The 1 to 6 lockout. This one's a little bit more closer, and this 3-car Square Levi Jacob combination are gapping Chasta by quite a lot, and Square is only 5.4 seconds behind his teammate Le Griff in P2, who's yet to stop. So some amazing time being made from the free. I would say the superstar trio of NRX, and I think the crowd will agree with me that there's only one bigger icon you could put in that top 3, and that is NRX Love Island. He is a big crowd favourite, and I'm hoping that we can have some words with Love Island. Is he in the lobby engineering tonight?
I think he is, I'm not sure.
I'm sure the crowd will want to hear as FH goes past Jackster up into P8. So the teammates swapping around. And there we go, NRX Love Island.
I've just noticed in the last lap, FH was 6 seconds faster than Casa. So I might be able to catch him up in the end. He's got good pace.
Yeah, this will be an interesting battle as Square again chomps more time out. 0.6 of a second gained on Le Griff, and that's a differential in 11 lap fresher tyres. And he'll be on the back of him soon. AMS Till, good evening in the chat. So we've seen many different faces across the 2 streams tonight, Caesar.
Yeah.
Some characters have stayed around, and we will be conducting team manager interviews at the end, and they want to hear from Fresh and Loveland from NRX. I don't know who the engineer, FRT Alpha, is it?
No, I think FRT Alpha is present. I think it was FRT Neo, as he's the lobby host as well.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, unfortunately FRT Alpha couldn't be attendant in this lobby. Hopefully he'll be watching his team. But yeah, Sam Cole and Le Griff still going out on the mediums, as we're now in lap 16. We expect them to go into the pits in the next 1 or 2 laps. Which will make them drop back, I think, to P8 or P9.
If we count a pit stop, what do you want to say a pit stop at Japan? 22 seconds?
No, I think a bit less, maybe 20, 21.
21 drops them in behind Jackster.
Yeah.
So that'll be P8 and P9 if they box at the same time.
Yeah. I think they're doing well. Let's just take a look at the pace.
I want to say something, but I don't want to say it, and I don't want to curse it.
Yeah, so currently...
All I'll say...
Yeah, go on.
All I'll say is that on the graphic I'm looking at, there's the tyre, the amount of laps they've done, and there's nothing else beside it. I'm not saying no more than that. There's sometimes a little box that appears on the outside of that graphic. I'm not going to say no more than that because I don't want to curse anyone.
Alright, but Sam Cole goes into the pits. His teammate Le Griff goes through into the lead of the race. Sam Cole puts on, as expected, the soft tires. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out. I think he will. I think he will be ahead of FH and Jackster, just about. No, he'll be behind. He'll be behind. Yeah.
Good evening to I'd like to say a good friend of mine, Snipes SB, formerly of CSR, now at SLR. Maxwell G had a bit of contact and lost a lot of positions and a lot of time. He was running really well and then just had that contact and dropped down the positions. Hope you're well, Mr. Snipes.
Yeah, sorry, just to cut in. Of course, Jacob just mentioned in the chat. We've had 17 or 16 laps up to now.
Don't say
Nobody
it.
does.
Don't say it.
Nobody does have a
Don't
time
say
penalty yet.
Oh, you had to say it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, well, nothing wrong yet. But yeah, and Sam Cole into the hairpin again. Ooh, and Jackson turns in. Ooh, that looked like Sam Cole just maybe sticking his way up the inside. And
oh, look what you've done. Look what you've done, Decorous Jacob. Look what you've done, Caesar. Curse of the commentator strikes. Can we get some F's in the chat for Decorous Jacob, please?
But the biggest story right now is Sam Cole. He's lost around 2 seconds to his nearest competitor. That's crucial. As Le Griff now goes to the pits.
Yeah, so in all the excitement of not seeing a penalty, we have missed Sam Cole. Did he have a bit of contact with Jackster? He sent one up at turn 11 again?
Again? No, I don't think again, yeah. He just in the hairpin they touched as Sam Cole. He wanted to go for a move, but Jackster turned in at his normal point. As Sam Cole, he is in front of his teammate.
This is going to be tight. Maxwell G on the back of Lagriff as he comes out of the box. Oh, what a big snap of oversteer coming out of turn 1 from Maxwell G. 8 lap old mediums, tyres on fire. This is going to compromise his S-bends massively. He did well to save it, and we have seen that Aston Martin car, if you roll back to 24 hours before, to Mr. AMS term, 2 massive saves at turn 1 there. Sam Cole reeling in now Jackster. He takes misses the apex by a country miles, and there's an apex there somewhere, Mr. Cole.
A lot of people are saying some special comments in the chat, which are some facts about the race, but I'm not going to mention them to prevent them happening, as that's the main commentator curse.
No. Ismail B23, good evening. Thanks for coming back for the 2nd night in a row. Would like the warning update, please, for Mr. Square out in front.
Let's take a look at all the warnings.
Yellow flag in sector 1. Ooh. And that's Bella Fox. Right round, baby, right round, as Caesar checks the warnings, and that Bella Fox is now 1 minute behind anyone else, and he's about to be lapped.
Alright, so as it stands, Square has 1 warning, Levi has 2 warnings, Jacob has 0, Chester has 1 warning, Sabe has 2 warnings, FH has 0 warnings, Chester has 1, Sam Cole 0, Le Griff also has 1, Maxwell G has 3 warnings. I'm not sure if that's entirely correct, but because if you have 3 warnings you should get a penalty. Auto has 1 warning, and Bella Fox has 4 warnings and a penalty. Yeah.
Maybe one for that contact that caused him to lose places earlier on in the stint.
That could be, because that warning obviously doesn't count in the track limit warnings.
Indeed, and Decorous Allison in the chat now. Rapid, thanks for the nice comments. At least we got good commentary. And this race is just starting to flatline in a little bit with 8 laps to go. In recent moves, Sam Cole and Lagriff have swapped positions in 8th and 9th.
As for you, a provisional score update, currently it's 76 for NRX and it's 26 for FRT.
76.26. Shasta with the fastest lap of the race. The driver currently running in P4.
Oh, who was that? Oh, Bella Fox, he crashed in sector 2. Will that give us a safety car? It will.
And there it is.
Oh, safety car.
Decorous Jacob, do not write another thing in the chat all night.
The top three can pit without losing a position to an FRT driver. But of course, Maxwell G, Otto, LeGriff, Sam Cole, Jax, FH, Sam, and even Kester can all catch up to the top 3, and we'll have a proper sprint race for probably the final 5 or 4 laps.
So a race that was just starting to flatline out. Decorous Jacob, if you'd like to put the lottery numbers in the chat for everyone else this evening, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, you might as well go to the casino now. You might have a good night there.
Or make your way down to the casino. Mystic Jacob, he predicts these things.
So yeah, safety car. Question is, how many drivers will go into the pits? It's for certain, I think LeGriff and Sam Cole will stay out. Is there obviously
I was just about to say that. Yeah. There's a twist up. So NRX square just coming through 130.
Yes, I just realised NRX will have to double stack.
They will. Jacob should be pulling off.
Yeah, square into the pits.
They're going to box.
Levi into the pits.
In.
Jacob's
done it as well.
Yeah. All into the pits. I think they've got space. Maybe Jacob will draw back behind Sabe, but there will only be one place. Chasta into the pits.
Is he going to get caught out? Yes, he is. He sits behind his teammate.
Sabe, very late decision for Sabe there.
Oh, late call.
FH stays out.
FH
and Jackster as well.
Jackster. LeGriff has predicted Sam Cole.
Maxwell G in the pits.
Auto
as well.
Auto. So we've got a mixed up grid as well along with this sprint race.
Yeah. Square is still ahead of Jackster. So he's split by 2 FRT drivers right now on the older strategy. FH and Jackster are going to lose so much pace because they're mediums. At the end of the race, they will almost be done, but the soft tires will still be very much fresh.
But what's happened is, in that double stack, so the 3-car trio, the superstar trio of NRX, now sit 2, 4, and Jacob N has lost out massively and finds himself down in P8. And I'm sure I'm going to spend a lot of time on board. Chasta's going to move out of his way early, and I imagine Sam Cole and LeGriff and Levi might do as well. Well, maybe not Levi, but I think Jacob M will be back up behind Levi very quickly. There'll be some team orders down there, or maybe they'll let him race, who knows.
Also for the professional score, the safety cars had a massive impact because now FRT are scoring 43 and NRX are scoring, I think, 59. So all of a sudden it's much closer, but I expect FH and Jackster to be struggling into the final laps of this race.
Yeah, the safety car, Jackster more than FH, to be fair. These laps under the safety car are benefiting Jackster massively, but he's got a sea of NRX drivers behind him, all on fresh softs, so they're going to come up to temperature in this hot weather a lot quicker than their mediums. We see no tyre warming going on from FH as it stands either. The teammates have crashed into each other.
As Max D, I think he has damage, he hits again.
Yeah. So could this be a nightmare for FRT? The wings come out.
Yeah, the wing.
It's another wing change.
Ooh. Not sure what happened there. I think we missed that.
So some tyre warming going on from FH now. We expect the safety car to come in at the end of lap 22, which will give us 4 laps of sprint racing.
You do not
to look forward to.
Want to miss these 4 laps. I think it's 5 laps actually if it comes in this lap. 23 to 27. But yeah, Jackson and FH
is in the chat.
are gonna struggle a lot.
Interesting from Freshkey. Says there's a reason why them two drivers crashed into each other, and I highly doubt that is the case.
I'm not sure it's something you'd want as two teammates, because you still have fresh tires, and yeah, I mean there are some guys in front with slightly older tires from NRX. I mean, like Griffin, Sam Cole, and it's a sprint race. Everyone is very close to each other. 5 laps, anything can happen.
Indeed, and in the chat saying about NRX Square bottling with an average finishing position in BFE of 1.3, that would suggest an average points of 23. That would suggest that NRX Square does not bottle. Jacob, please be quiet.
As the safety car is in this lap, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 5 laps of racing. You do not want to miss this.
No, stay tuned. We are going live.
FH is weaving a lot just before the final chicane. I reckon he will go in the exit of the chicane. Square will win.
Don't go
Square
anywhere.
Will be awake. And he goes. That's maybe a bit earlier than expected.
Before Casio Triangle.
Yeah.
We'll go on board with NRX Square to see the difference, and he's done it. Whoa, this could be game over before turn 1.
FH uses overtake. They go side by side.
This is going to be a good bit of defending into turn 1. Has he got the bottle to get the switchback done? No, FRT FH 444.
Sam Cole.
Lancer Aston Martin.
Sam Cole, let's buy.
Fantastic.
Oh! They crashed, they both crashed!
No!
Oh! Jacob and Sam Cole.
Jacob and Sam Cole.
Oh, that's massive for NRX. What happened there? I think Sam Cole wanted to let by the Griff of Costa and Jacob, but Jacob cut in on him on the exit of turn 2 just before turn 3, and they crashed. From wind damage to both cars.
As poor restarts go, NRX will be looking at themselves in the mirror and slapping themselves on the forehead. Levi on the back of Jackster as we go into Spoon. So there's NRX versus FRT 1, 2, 3 and 4.
And as it stands now, FRT are winning by 52 to 50. But as I say that, the Griff... It's still... Oh, and they collide on the straight.
So...
But yeah, Square is very close to the back of FH there.
The top 4 of
yellow flag,
Sam
Cole is retired.
Sam Cole is out of the race.
Square is very close to Square. Ooh, FH out of ERS. This gives the move to FH. FH, he's defending on the outside. Square is on the inside.
He's defending it for his life. He's going to hold it round the outside.
And he makes
he has
the
to
move.
concede the position.
He makes the move. Maxwell G gets past his teammate Savoia. And he now can catch up to Lagriff. But Square, left 24, he takes the lead. And now, with 2 guys of FRT having older tires, Square is all ready to pull away.
But he's already gapped him a second, and now all eyes turn to NRX Levi. What's he got in the locker? He's riding that rear wing of Jackster 20. Into turn 11 we go. He didn't Sam Cole it up the inside, but he gets the look at the launch out of 11 into 12. Is he going to look round the outside at 12? No. He's pulling wide like he's going to feint and move into Spoon. You see the flick of the wheel again, just trying to make Jackster think that he's coming, but Levi remains in P4 as we go down the back straight into 130R. Sabe gets a time penalty.
I don't want to do anything because Jacob is still, I think, 8 seconds, 7 seconds behind. Luckily.
I've got him at 5.5, so are we going to see a move from Levi into Casio?
Crucial.
No, we're not.
Crucial, Jackster gets DRS from his teammate. Or is it not allowed yet? Oh, Maxwell G gets past Lagriff into the chicane.
Yeah, that was one hell of a battle, but here comes Sabe as well. They are almost touching side by side down into turn 1. Who's gonna? It's his battle of the bottle here. Who's got the cojones?
Ooh,
And it looks like
Sabe
has got the cojones, and that is a great move. What a set of nuts he's got on him. I wouldn't be doing that.
FRT are making moves, as it stands now.
And Levi's still unable to get back any places on Jackster and FH. So they're holding their own, these two, with 2 laps to go. Oh, Levi just as a kick of understeer out of the second Degner. A corner that's caught a few people out, and what that's doing is here comes NRX Chester in the Mercedes. He's coming to join the party at the back, and through turn 12 again, Jackster pushes him a little bit wide. No move into Spoon. This is interesting battle here, Caesar. Levi struggling to get through.
But as it stands now, NRX score 55 and FRT score 47. Jackster's so close off the back of his teammate as well. Lady could be looking at a double pass here, as I think FH is of course out here as...
Oh, he's going to send it.
Oh.
He's going to send it in the force.
He gets a time penalty.
He gets a time penalty.
Oh, that's massive.
He gets a penalty for his troubles.
Oh, he hits him as well.
A...
Oh, he almost loses it.
Whoa, what
2
a
laps to
save
go
from Levi. Jackster with a big
he lets his teammate. He lets his teammate go.
He must have contact. He must have damage. And wow, what a save from Levi. Jackster twitches that back end and causes Levi to drive into the back of him, and he hands the baton over to the Mercedes at Chester. And a race that looked like it was flatlining, Caesar, is currently someone's poured a fire on it, and we are back to life.
1.5 left to go. Square just entering sector 2. Square is clear. 3.6 seconds ahead of FH, but the battle is behind him. Chester so close to the back of FH. I think they have a bit of contact going into the second Degner. Of course, FH is going to play the team game here to give Jackster DRS.
He is indeed, and I tip my hat off to FH and Jackster. This has been an Alonso-style defence. As Chester, what's he got in the locker? What can he do differently to what Levi didn't do?
I think currently,
perfect...
if I'm not mistaken, 53 to NRX, 49 to FRT. It's so close.
So it's all to play for. Yeah, all to play for. Levi's penalty to Maxwell G.
Levi will drop back behind Maxwell G and Lagriff, but Sabe will drop back behind Lagriff as well. FH giving the DRS to Jackster.
He's got the launch.
Has ERS. Jackster crucially is completely out of ERS there.
Yeah, Chester's got the launch. He pulls it to the side, and that could be game, set, and match.
That could be it. That could be it. Ooh, Sabe, he hits the curb.
Chester, another one who rides the curb at turn 1.
Ooh, Levi's very close to Jackster.
But again, we see another massive save from a driver at turn 1. Shout out to AMS Term. I know he's in the chat and he'll appreciate that save from last night. There's a clip going around in Discords. It's been a battle of the saves at turn 1, Caesar. You've obviously been in the BFE pad for last night and obviously in the comm spots tonight, but I'm sure you can agree with me. There's been some massive saves.
Hang on a minute, Levi and Jackster making contact in the hairpin, so it just got in there. And Jackster's close to FH, 3/10. And crucially, FH is a lot less ERS than Chester. Could Chester make the move into the final chicane of this race?
Oh, right on board. FH has defended with his life. That is like a aeroplane wing on the back of that.
He's gaining.
Martin.
He's gaining.
Here goes Chester. Are we going to see something special through
130R?
He's going to hold it around the outside. He's going to make it stick as well. Wow.
Squares, this is final chicane. He will win the race, but the battle is behind him.
What a
Chester
move by
makes
Chester.
the move. Levi's ahead of Jackster.
Levi sent it on Chester as well. And that's the end of the race.
That's the end.
Chester.
Of course, Sabe had 5-second penalty. But the result is... Ooh, that's very close. But I think NRX pulled it off at the end.
I know my headset's going to catch this, but I applaud FH and Jackster. Absolutely superb defending. They held on for their lives. That was incredible.
Alright, so just counting up the provisional score if we get the results. think it's 60 for NRX and 42 for FRT. So provisionally NRX goes through. And Square, just to mention, with all the battling behind, he started on pole, he won the race, and he got the fastest lap. So it's a...
Absolutely. I've just had to take a moment there, Caesar, to catch my breath after that round the outside. NRX Chasta, 7th on the grid up to P2, and the finishing positions: Square, Chasta, FH, Jackster, Maxwell G makes it back up into P5, so a great recovery drive from him. Lagrif, Levi in P7, so that penalty's absolutely nailed him at the end. Auto in P8, Jacob, who got caught by the double stack, finds himself in P9. Sabe 10, Sam Cole and Bella Fox unfortunately didn't finish. Stay in the stream, guys. We're going to get everyone's favourite manager, Love Island, in the chat, along with Fresh Key, and we're up to get some FRT guys in as well. Wow.
Yeah, no words.
That's all I can say.
What a race.
Caesar, we are absolutely spoiled.
Unbelievable.
We are absolutely spoiled as commentators. If you want to send the invites out and see if we can get some team managers in.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm just looking forward to interviewing Love Island, to be fair.
Let's invite Loveland to the party. Let's see if we can get a team leader from FH, for FRT as well, FH, tonight. And there he is, Loveland.
There he is.
Make sure to include your audio. As FH has joined the party as well. So Rose, what do you have to ask on Loveland? Loveland, what a victory!
Good evening.
It looked a bit, well, I don't know how to word it, but it looked in question at the end there. But
wait a second.
yeah, I don't know.
You're very quiet, Mr.
Sorry,
Loveland.
I'll move
I
my
need
mic
to
a bit.
turn
Is that
you
better?
up. Yeah,
have my
so I'll
mic.
turn you up in the
Okay.
party as well, and I'll do the same for FH. Make sure your audio is included. There is a call for Fresh Key to come in as well in the stream chat. But Caesar, take it away with everyone's favourite manager, Love Island.
Well, so Loveland, amazing results from qualifying. NRX drivers driving amazing laps, much faster than everyone has done so far on Japan and BFE this round. It looked comfortable going to, I think, lap 19 or 20 until the safety car came out. A few FRT drivers decided to stay out. Must have put a bit of tension to you there in the end.
Yeah, it definitely did, because I think without the safety car it could have been a 1-6, which would have been quite the statement, but we adapted to the safety car and we still just about got the win, so can't really ask for much more.
Just a couple from me, Mr. Loveland, if I would. Congratulations on quite a dominant victory. Your thoughts on the pole time from NRX Square? The stream chat went absolutely wild, and that's the quickest time of round 3 for pole position. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, the man's a robot. He's very, you know how quick he is, and I'm pretty sure that's his PB for the whole day that we've been practicing. Same with Jacob. I mean, he was been doing 0.9s the whole day, and he's gone into the session, he's done a 0.7. So yeah, it's mega. Very proud of the boys.
And lastly, any comments to the stream chat who absolutely love you? I'm not gonna lie. A lot of love for Love Island.
Thank you, guys.
A lot of love for Loveland, GOAT manager, etc., etc. Any comments to the masses of Loveland fans in the chat?
You make me sound like a celebrity. Well, thank you for the support, everyone. I'm glad we could put on a show, and yeah. Thanks for watching, I guess. And of it, sorry,
No
just
problem.
well done to FRT, because you gave us a bit of a run for our money at the end. So
Cheers,
GG,
thanks.
boys.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, moving up to FRT FH. Thanks for joining us in the comms box
Nice.
for these interviews. Well, there was a bit. Well, maybe of course NRX maybe was just as the favorite before the race. They pulled it off in qualifying as well, but in the end, I think the result was quite close. And even I think a few laps before the end, I think it was almost a tie. How did you experience it? You were driving, of course, by yourself.
Yeah.
Give us some thoughts.
Well, with the safety car, me and Jack just thought, may as well just stare on the medium, see if we can hold up everyone. I tried to hold up Squares as long as I could, but that is impossible. So the lap I held him up was probably the best I could do. But then Chester, I was just not. I don't know. I just didn't defend hard enough. So yeah, it was stressful though. Those last 3 laps wasn't fun, but yeah, we gave it our best effort today, and a lot of people, Auto and Jack, had like wheel issues or whatever at points, so that didn't help our chances either with them having issues. And then Bella, I don't know what happened to him, but at the curb or something they went round, so yeah, not sure.
I think just a couple from me. Nice to meet you eventually, FH444. I did try signing up to FRT at the start of the lobby. Unfortunately, I did press the wrong button, and I would have raced for you actually. So obviously a challenging qualifying for FRT, and the pendulum was swinging, and the race just started to flatline out before the safety car. And you'll pick up a comment from me towards the end of the race where I actually applauded yourself and Jackster. I must applaud you and say it while you're in the party. An absolutely fantastic bit of defending. You two were holding on for dear life.
Yeah.
What was it like behind the wheel at that time?
Not fun. It was horrible, but yeah, I just knew that this is one of the only tracks they could possibly do that. I lost the race on 2020 here because of strategy like that, late safety car and all that, so they say I'd probably be the better option, and I guess it was, because I managed to pick up a podium, I guess, but yeah, but it was not fun. But yeah, I mean, Jack gave it our best effort out there, trying to hold up everyone. We couldn't really do much else with that defending.
No, you should be. I'm sure you are already, but you should be proud of that defending. That was defending of the highest Fernando Alonso-esque.
Yeah, thank you.
And first, one question I do like to ask, and I've asked it in all round 3 fixtures so far: is there anything that team managers you'd like to say to each other while we've got you in the party? Is there any final comments from yourselves?
Well, just like in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know, to be honest. I'm just an admin. I just got put as team boss for today. I think I don't really know. Yeah, I just got put as team boss because I was racing. I don't really know. We just gave it our best effort, didn't we? And we'll come back stronger next season. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back bigger and stronger.
We do hope to see you in the season 4. Loveland.
Hello.
You are a celebrity, whether you try to shy away from it or not. A massive figure on and off the track for NRX, a massive figure in all discords that I see you in. I don't see, apart from the Blue Army, there's no support like Loveland support. And any final comments from yourself?
Well, not really. I mean, we did what we had to do. Through to the next round. Obviously, GG to FRT. We didn't underrate them. We knew they'd be arguably the hardest race we've had this tournament, and yeah. So yeah, I'm glad that our practice paid off, and good luck to FRT for their other tournaments.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. Caesar, last but not least, fire away. Anything you'd like to add before we go off raiding?
It's been a hell of a night. Thanks to you guys, Loveland and FH, for the very good race. Sadly, we couldn't do interviews with the team bosses of the previous race, but that was a very good one as well. We've been entertained. I'm sure the chat was entertained as well. This is why we do and commentate on 6v6 Racing. Thanks a lot. To you, Loveland. Good luck in the semi-finals, and FRT, FH. Good luck in other tournaments. You've done your best. You've done very well, and you've impressed this season.
Thank you. I've only done 2
cheers,
races. Thanks.
No problem. We're going off to raid a F1 streamer called Lisa Julia, who's fully sending it in open lobbies on PC. Fixtures coming out for the next round soon. Me, on a personal note, my channel is on shutdown until next week. I'm having a well-earned break. and I'll be catching up on some Forza, so I might stream a couple of open lobbies. Thank you very much to everyone who's joined us across the last 2 hours and 40 minutes of non-stop action. Congratulations to all 4 teams involved and all the teams across round 3. There's been some enthralling action from Japan. Thank you to you at home for watching all the way through, and I'll catch you very, very soon.